New update. My dad said he wishes he had a son rather than a daughter. I am not the oop. Oop is you, Ayakashado. My dad said he wishes he had a son rather than a daughter. Previous Bo are you. New update is marked with originally posted to R, off my chest. Trigger warning. Child neglect. Slurs. Physical violence. Less than. And NBSP. Original post August 29, 2023. I apologize in advance for my bad grammar or spelling. I'm writing this quickly and on a phone. 17F. I'm not very close with my father. 41 meters. Due to him not wanting to spend much time with me. When I was little, me and my mom, 39F, did lots of fun activities together and she always played with me and entertained me, resulting in us having a good relationship now years later. But whenever I'd try to get my dad to play with me or watch something with me, he'd be uninterested and tell me to go play with my mom. This happened practically every day, with me wanting to watch him work on his car or ask him to play. But he always pushed me off, and as I grew up, I believed that my dad just didn't like me, so I asked him to play or teach me stuff less and less. He would only do stuff with me on my birthday and holidays, though he always made sure I was fed when I was hungry, and if I was upset he'd comfort me, but other than that he would avoid me. Now to today. I was in the kitchen getting a snack and my dad was outside in the backyard on the phone with one of his friends. I could hear what he was talking about from the open kitchen window, but I was ignoring it until he said my name in their conversation. I listened in more and heard him telling his friend that he wishes he had a son more than a daughter because he never wanted a girl and didn't try to build much of a relationship with me because of it, and said he had tried to get my mom to have a second kid to see if he could get a son. But my mom didn't want 2 children at the time, so he just ignored me when I was able to walk and talk so he could focus on other things and let my mom raise me. I went to my room after hearing this and I'm writing this now. I want to tell my mom because how hurt I feel, but I also don't want to cause an argument between them since they are really close. Does anyone have a few suggestions on what I should do? Should I ask him about it or just tell my mom? And NBSP. Update 1, August 29, 2023. 8 hours later. Hi everyone. I have a short update for my situation from my last post. I firstly want to say how grateful and heartwarming seeing your comments were, and your kind words really helped, along with the few people who messaged me asking if I needed someone to talk to. I really love you all. On to the update. My mom got home from work and I waited until she wasn't busy to talk to her. I asked her to come with me to my room, and once we both were in there with the door closed, I told her what I overheard and how I felt. Not just about his hurtful words, but also how I've felt my whole life with how he treated me like I'm a stranger. My mom was quiet as I talked, and once I finished she hugged me and told me how she's really sorry, and hugged me while telling me how I'm the best thing to ever happen to her and that it didn't matter that I'm a girl because she'd love me either way, and that's how parents should be, and she'd always be there for me. After a bit she went to confront my dad, who just admitted it. They got into an argument from it, which ended with him going to stay at my grandma's house for a bit. I'll add another update if anything new comes up. Edit. I forgot to mention, but my mom also told me how she's been doing her best to fill both roles of my mom and dad since my dad wasn't. And NBSP. Update 2, September 3rd, 2023. 5 days later. Wow. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone who commented on my last 2 posts. I've been given lots of advice and support, which I really want to say thank you for. You have no idea how much it means to me. On to the update. My dad came home last night and my mom was hesitant to let him into the house, but he said he needed to talk, so she let him in. Me and my mom sat in the living room and he started apologizing for what had happened and was telling my mom and me that he regretted what he said and would step up to be a better father to me and to make things right. My mom told him that what he did was not acceptable in any way and that it's not a matter where apologizing will fix it. I then asked how exactly did he plan to make up ignoring me my whole childhood and not being a dad to me, and how I'm turning 18 in a couple months and then I'll be an adult and won't be a child anymore. I then said that ignoring me all my childhood and pushing me away because of what's between my legs was a horrible thing and I don't forgive him. He started apologizing more and had some tears in his eyes, which sort of surprised me, but my mom asked me to head to my room, so I did, and I could hear my mom saying stuff and then my dad leave the house again. She came into my room after and told me that she would be not allowing him in our home anymore and gave me a hug before telling me that she texted his mom the night he left for a few days about what happened, and apparently my grandma tore into him about it and kicked him out, so he had to stay at one of his friend's house. And NBSP #NEW update. And NBSP update number 3, October 2nd, 2023. 1 month later. Hello all. It's been almost a month since my last update, since nothing much had happened with the situation until last weekend. If you want to know the full story, then look at my previous posts, then come back to this one. I was home alone last weekend watching The Mandalorian. Hope I spelled it right. As I was resting after being hit by a car. Story for another time, but I'm fine. And as I was laying in bed, I heard knocking on the front door. I went to check and saw my dad standing there. His left eye was completely bloodshot looking and he asked to come in. At first I said no and said if he wanted to talk we could where we were at. He started apologizing for everything and then tried to guilt me into forgiving him and to try and get my mom to let him stay again, but when I said no he got a bit mad and started to rant about what's been happening with his life recently. I wasn't really interested and just waiting for him to back up so I can shut the door when he started to calm down a bit and then drop a bomb and said that he wasn't very interested in me growing up because I was not his kid. I was dumbfounded hearing that and asked what he meant, and he said, if you were my child you would not be a girl, so you aren't my kid. I actually was shocked he thought that was how it worked and I was not his child because I wasn't born a boy. Like WTF. I started to tell him that he's a actual retard if he thought that's how it worked, and that made him mad and he slapped me and started to yell, so I pushed him backwards and he fell off the porch, so I shut the door quickly and locked it before calling my mom, who immediately called the police and rushed home as he was yelling and trying to get the door back open. After a few minutes the cops showed up and he was taken in an ambulance to a hospital because the fall backwards broke his wrist. Then he was arrested for assault on a minor, since we have cameras that caught the whole thing on video. My mom had been comforting me the past week because I had to deal with that, and now we are okay. I probably won't update again unless something major happens, but I wanted to say thank you to everyone who has reached out and left nice comments on all of my posts. And NBSP reminder, this is a repost sub. I am not oop. And this is partly why sex education is important in schools. 'Cause otherwise there are dumb idiots and their parents out there. Poor oop. Her dad comes from the Henry VIII School of Genetics, where girls are the mom's fault or something. I guess he never learned that the dad determines the gender, not the mom. Something is completely wrong with that man. Why would he say something like that to his daughter? Then he wants his wife to take him back. Why would she? He needs help. Serious help. The dad is definitely a few clowns short of a circus. I can't help but wonder what the mom thought all those years when dad pushed oop away. Go play with your mom, constantly. Didn't she think it weird dad wanted nothing to do with his daughter? If you were my child you would not be a girl, so you aren't my kid. Like, what? Why do these idiots breed? Did he think that it worked like that? That he willed a boy so hard that his sperm was all boy making? That his wife cheated on him? Props to OOP's mother, though, for keeping him away. I wish I had a son instead of a daughter. Well, fancy that. I wish I had a father instead of a boss, but here we are. I unfortunately understand what this girl has gone through. As a daughter I was completely non-existent as far as my father was concerned. He had 2 sons, younger than me. I'm the eldest. He used to introduce my oldest brother as ABC the heir, the youngest brother as XYZ the spare. And if he was in a generous mood he would indicate to me. And the girl, no name given, shouldn't kid herself about what her mother did and didn't know. She knew, whatever her reasons for not doing anything about it. She knew. As a mother myself, there is no way you could not know if your partner was not involving themselves in your child's life. My father is dead now, and true to his word I never received a brass razoo from him. I'm more than good with that. I realized long ago not being beholden to someone is the greater gift. I knew he wanted forgiveness because he had nowhere to stay, not because he was sorry. This isn't the point, but I find it funny that Oop used the R word when confronting her dad the second time but censored it online. Tears of joy. How the hell did the mom not notice her husband's mistreatment of her daughter for 17 years? What? King Henry resurrected as sad suburban loser was not on my bingo card. If you were my child you would not be a girl, so you aren't my kid. More and more prove that idiocracy isn't just a movie. It's becoming real. Lol. This is almost what my dad was like when I was a kid. He literally said the same thing to my mom. After they separated though, he's a surgeon, too. He didn't actually think I wasn't his. It was just a convenient way to make himself feel better after producing something as horrible and emasculating as a female child. Some people are just so sexist they would rather act like nutbags than admit that a daughter is an acceptable version of an offspring. I bet OP's mom didn't have a good marriage. Maybe she really wanted to and tried hard. And I feel sorry for her. Yikes. Somehow this story got worse. Does the father not have studied basic biology in school? Hope Oop will be okay. Anybody else mad that mom let it go on this long? I mean, I don't agree with the use of the R-word slur, but that man is a booger-pickin' moron who needs a remedial human biology lesson. I hope his wrist always hurts when it's damp from here on out and that he lives in a rainy climate. I hate the R-word. I know people who are bullied with it, but I'm gonna give her a pass here, because it did hurt him. Good. That story just kept going downhill. Hope she's doing okay. I've read this one multiple times, and still think the mother was complicit by knowing yet still allowing it to continue for 17 years.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.